Good afternoon. This is the Thursday, January 4th, 2018 meeting of the Athens City Planning Commission. There is one member absent. Everyone else is here. A quorum has been established. Is there anyone in the audience who plans to address the Planning Commission today or thinks they might? Just raise your right hand. And do you swear to tell the truth as you know it to the Planning Commission? Thank you very much. Disposition of minutes. Are there any changes, amendments we need to make?
I would move for approval of the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's 4 in favor, and I was just getting here. So do I need to amend now that we are in full session? We have all members present. Okay. Let's see. The cases today. Case number 18-01, Title 41, 175 Columbus Road, a new building, TAT Realty. Mr. Suroy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners and public. You'll have to excuse me. My voice seems to be going in and out lately. Not quite sure what's going on, but again, I'll do my best to read this to you. Yes, this is a new construction down on Columbus Road, 175 Columbus Road in Athens. TAT Realty of Jackson, Ohio is requesting approval for construction of a 15,700 square foot commercial building. This building will have possibly 3 tenants, with the first tenant being Goodwill Industries. The property has gone through extensive fill to meet floodplain requirements. Facts. The applicant developers, TAT Realty, LLC, 900 Morton Street, Jackson, Ohio. The parcel number is A as in Alpha 028-200009300. Contractors to be determined. The architects are Clinton and Buckley Group, 499 Birchland Avenue, Athens, Ohio. The zoning is B3. Surrounding land use, areas of open space to the northeast by east and small areas of east to the east zone for R1. Columbus Road is zoned for B3. The current land use is vacant. Proposed land use is a commercial building, retail. Proposed number of building is 1 with possibly 3 tenants. The lot area is 140,623 square feet. The building size is 15,700 square feet. Asphalt parking is 39,928 square feet. Total impervious area is 56,941 square feet. The estimated cost of the project is $750,000. Reviews and comments from staff. From my office, the parking required is 61. We provided 65. 4 accessible parking spaces. A bicycle rack with 8 spaces provided. Signs, no sign request was presented at this submission. Applicant will submit application for a later date. Variances, none were needed. It's a very good project. A full set of state-approved plans must be submitted to the code office for issue of the zoning permit. The applicant is aware of that. Title 33 Shade Tree Commission. I won't read all of this, but they were approved. Next one is Athens Fire Department, Chief Robert Reimer. With plans approved, I have no comments until more detailed plans are provided. When the other proposed buildings are constructed, I request a hydrant at the end of door lanes with the appropriate GPM needed. Police Department, Captain Harvey. Exterior lighting is my only concern. None was indicated on the plans. I would recommend lights in the parking lot and on the building with enough to illuminate all areas. It appears that there is a full driving access around the entire building, so that is a good thing. Paul Logue, City Planner. He had no comments. The City of Athens Engineering and Public Works Director Andy Stone. I've attached all the comments that Andy has done, and also I do believe Clinton is aware of the requirements. And that's what I have.
Okay. Is there anyone from the audience who wishes to speak today? Just come to the podium, please, and please state your name and the company that you represent.
My name's Clinton Kinsley with the Buckley Group Engineering here in Athens, and we're here seeking approval for our project. Rick described the project pretty well, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Like you said, it's a 15,700 square foot building. We meet our parking requirements, sanitary, sewer, water hookups. I guess addressing the lighting question from the police department. The architect and I have spoken, and we're talking about potentially putting some lighting in the interior islands of the parking lot. And we will submit that plan to proper entities for approval of that.
The Engineering and Public Works Director has a number of things.
Yep.
As far as going down that list, what things have you addressed so far with Mr. Suroy?
So the first one, specify material of the culvert under the driveway. It's actually specified on C102. So the note is D1 for proposed 18-inch storm culvert, and then in the general notes we say all storm sewers shall be double wall corrugated HDPE pipe with 1 foot of cover. So that's there. Other notes including stormwater, I spoke to Andy Stone, and we're looking at possibly doing like a bioswale lined system in that front ditch. So we're creating a little bit wider of a ditch than what is there right now to account for all the flow that's coming off of 33 and from our site. So we're talking about having some plantings that are able to absorb some of those pollutants from the runoff. So that is a recommended approach from Andy Stone, and we're looking into incorporating that into our plan.
As far as like with the fire chief, I guess this would be maybe more of a question to Paula or something. It's like, is there the possibility of putting the hydrant in before new tenants might be arrived at, as far as additional tenants, I should say?
Well, the way I read this is that he's comfortable with a singular building and the fire flow protection. It's if the additional buildings are constructed. But we could include in this that recommendation, or we could do the blanket, include all of these staff items and that.
And we are including a hydrant on the east end of the proposed building for this project. We have a hydrant there, so should be accessible to the fire department for all corners of the building of this project.
Are there any questions or comments from the commission?
I don't understand, because I can't read this C102 sheet with the red line. What is this?
It's R1.
He is,
It looks like it says R2.
yes. So it says locate downstream storm system on drawings and provide calculations to verify grading will accommodate area drainage. That was addressed by Andy Stone to make sure that we account for all the drainage that comes north off of the highway. We have quite a big drainage area there that flows through the culverts underneath Door Lane and into the low area that exists on our site. And we're trying to address that with widening our ditches. We've got 10-foot wide bottoms all the way to the proposed driveway. So we're addressing the area that he's concerned about that. We're gonna provide some hydraulic calculations for that runoff coming from 33, I think, is his main concern.
I just want to echo the city engineer's statements regarding being in the wellhead protection and coming up with the best management practices for the stormwater runoff.
Right, and he had mentioned that in that ditch that we're planning to do our bioswale type option, putting like a lined bottom to prevent these pollutants from potentially leaching into the groundwater. So they would just be absorbed by the plant material and not leach into the wellhead protection area.
But that bioswale is in front of what's going to be developed at this point in time with this particular building, not with what we're seeing in the southwest corner.
Southwest.
Southeast corner, rather, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Southeast corner. Well, we can incorporate it for that whole stretch. The entire widened ditch area. So we have a ditch on the southwest corner, and the ditch continues to the southeast corner. So we can incorporate those plantings throughout the whole ditch if necessary.
There's currently a large ditch on the end of that property in the southwest, between that property and the Harley-Davidson shop. That's been cleared, and across the street also has been cleared, worked on.
There's also still a rather large mound of dirt.
Yes.
Down there too, isn't there?
I think that's their topsoil
Topsoil.
stripping, yeah.
So today, we're only doing the one building with the possibility of 3 tenants.
Correct.
We've all acknowledging that's possible future buildings that will come back to this body.
Correct.
Ms. Gunther, do you have any comments or questions?
I just from looking at it, even though I can't see the dimensions, it looks like all the parking spaces are van accessible.
All of the handicap parking, yes.
Right, so they're all not just accessible, but van accessible.
Correct.
It looks like,
They-
yeah,
they-
the access
I
aisle.
believe they
between-
have 8-foot islands
Okay,
in between.
okay.
Ms. Bain, do you have any comments?
9-foot islands.
Yeah. Just proportionally, it looked like it met that requirement.
If there are no other comments, does anyone want to put forth a motion?
I'll still move to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Communications today, Little Fish expansion at 8675 Armitage Road. Mr. Surroy?
Yes, Little Fish is planning an expansion on their current facility, and I have the owner here to speak to that.
Great. Just care to come to the podium, and please state your name and, again, who you represent.
Jimmy Stockwell, Little Fish Brewing Company. And we are, in fact, planning an expansion to our production area and a small kitchen. And one thing that I would like to add in communication with the Title 481 application is that we have already been approved for additional parking on the, the eastern side of the property.
Any questions, comments?
So is
We
that,
need
the
to hear a little
parking
more
area,
about it.
is that the additional parking, is that the area that's kind of
It'll be the,
outlined on the map?
it is the sort of large parcel.
Is it this?
Is it this?
There we go. I don't believe it's,
Oh,
That's what he
okay.
said. Is it, Rick, is it this?
no, it's,
Okay.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
Does
It's
it-
not
does
marked
it-
on there.
Is it contiguous?
It's right here.
With the parcel?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's already approved.
Yes.
Okay. So today you're telling us about your
The building
expanding of a
expansion.
production area and new
Yes.
kitchen.
So the
What would you
expansion
like-
will,
what
the
would you
expansion will deal purely with production.
The production portion, yes, there is about a 600 square foot small kitchen where we will take over our food services.
The total expansion is 5,626 square feet, so that 626 square feet kicked it into the Title 41, or the 5,000 requirement.
So out of curiosity, with this smaller kitchen, or this 600 square foot kitchen area, are you migrating away from food truck?
Yes,
food
this will
production?
be our migration away from food trucks. And I mean, really the idea is for us to take over the food so that we can kind of bring it all cohesively together with our philosophy with the beer.
And will this additional parking that's on the east
Yeah.
quadrant of your property, is that underway? Is that gonna take place, or?
It will take place kind of in conjunction with the construction. Right now, with asphalt plants being closed, it's really not feasible to start on it.
You know, the way we address that is, it's quite, logical he's gonna start the construction, so he's gonna have the parking done, you might as well do it all in conjunction with that. Also, we had a discussion about, he's gonna clean up some accessory buildings he's got there, which will come into code, which he had previously put a couple of shipping containers, and he had another little storage building there, which was an accessory, which this expansion will allow him to move some of that, get rid of some of that.
Yeah, it should address all of that
Yep.
Yes.
as we increase our storage capacity.
Yep.
So looking at this picture, this is the expansion into those parking spaces to the
Yeah.
west?
To the west, and
And
then
then
the
behind
kitchen,
the kitchen
will be to the east.
Yeah, those pictures
So-
there are dated, I think, 2015. So it's not as current as what you see.
Okay,
That's why I got it off Google search.
So there's
I get it.
no loss of parking? I mean, even though this footprint goes onto existing parking spaces, this additional parking covers that, or?
Oh, yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
So the kitchen area is gonna go into where the food trucks currently park?
Yes.
Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
So it's in your kind of seating outdoor area?
Yes,
It's not
we
parking.
currently have a large size window that will become a service window for the kitchen. It won't be table service, it'll be walk up, but.
Any other comments? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Further communications, 21 North Schaefer, Stumac, alteration, increased parking. Mr. Surroy?
Yes, this is 21 North Schaefer, and the architect is Jim Thomas. Stumac is planning on renovating the inside of their building, not changing any of the footprint. In doing that, we evaluated the situation, and they needed 7 additional parking spaces. So they plan on taking out, and that's what kicked it into Title 41, they plan on taking out some grass area to the back of the building and adding those parking spaces there. So, if you want.
So the project.
Sir, can you just go ahead, just give your name again?
Oh, yeah,
for the
Ryan Buckley with Buckley Group. So the project is to renovate the 21 North Schaefer Street building. It'll be about 53,000 square feet of renovations, mostly warehouse space, adding some additional office space and a workshop in the basement. So doing all the calculations, we needed 47 parking spaces, which we were able to accommodate. We have the 2 handicaps with van accessible at the rear of the building. We're running drainage down across the new parking lot, and there's actually a place in the pavement that has deteriorated, and we're planning to add a catch basin on that current storm line and repair that pavement down there. Other than that, it's pretty simple parking design. We're just adding all the parking in the rear.
Any questions, comments?
Nothing on the, what I would view as the frontage of this on West State. It's all almost to the rear.
That'll all remain the same on West State, yes.
Same that loading dock out there and everything?
Yep.
That's all part of the equation.
That's all part of the equation?
Yeah, on the North Schaefer side will be mostly just landscaping. All the work will pretty much be in the rear of the building, with a couple additional spots up around Miller's Chicken up top.
Right.
Which by and large is already paved, other than the
Yes.
grass area you're referring to.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you say 53,000 square feet of renovations, that's all mostly interior, right? All the
Yes, all interior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other comments? Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bylaws, oh, sorry. Oh, was there a comment in the, Sure. If you would just state your name and address.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and do it.
Yep.
Jim Thomas with BDT Architects. One thing that has just come up is that we are, with the owner, looking at an alternate to add some additional storage area to the second floor, which would be over, is it okay if I bring up a plan? It would be over the single-story area that's between the Economy Building and Miller's. Currently, that space has some weird ceiling lines inside, so the first level storage area really needs some more height, and we could use a little bit more storage for Stuart McDonald. And so, what we're looking at, this is single story here right now on this level. And then we're looking at going above that space, putting some additional storage there. It needs a new roof anyways, so we're just gonna add a level, we're proposing to add a level, and then putting a garden roof on top of that.
Really?
I love it.
So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Right?
And that's not going to affect the
No, it
original
doesn't affect
structure on
parking
it.
because it's all storage area, and it doesn't, the footprint's still the same, we're just adding some volume.
And structurally, it'll support another floor up on that?
Yeah, we'll have to do some steel structure inside. We've had a full structural view of the facility.
So it'll be a green roof within the stormwater, and well, that is wonderful. That makes us very happy. It's odd. I didn't realize that whole building actually encompasses Miller's, and it is one huge long building.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a maze.
Yeah.
It's a neat old building.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
You know, I just want to say, I want to follow up to this previous conversation. This is an amazing building, and it is sad to see the former lower tenant leave, but I'm really happy to see it continue to be used as a manufacturing space, and what has happened in there, and what STUMAC has provided. So again, and I want to echo the green roof. It's something that we need to do a better job of in the future.
They're also bringing new jobs in with the.
And jobs, well,
Because they're
yeah, don't hear
bringing-
me wrong, I know all
The
that.
manufacturing in the bottom will add, 14 new jobs
Excellent.
in the
Yeah.
basement, so, yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
and these are good paying jobs that I
Yes.
understand as well. So again, I just need to throw that in there. This is something I think is just gonna be overwhelmingly positive.
Thank you.
I'm assuming then these will come back to us next meeting as
Next meeting, yes,
cases?
both will be coming back to the next meeting. Little Fish and STUMAC.
Thank you.
Let's see, bylaws and rules of order. We were going to work on that a little bit more in terms of,
If I'm not mistaken, the only
was the
last
time.
bit of thing for our bylaws and moving forward is just getting the timing of communications / cases as we move forward. And I think we can probably do that in pretty short order to
Sure.
nail that down, because this has been long-standing, and we need to get this going.
As far as the time for communications and time for actual case presentation, been thrown around the idea of using 10 minutes as a time for the communications and 5 minutes for case presentation, with the idea that obviously if people need a little bit more time, that we will be liberal with that, but just to give us some sort of number to fall back on in certain situations. Just to throw that out and see what people think. Paula?
I'm only to this Article 3 part where it's if people, members of the public wishing to speak at a planning commission meeting on items before the commission or non-agenda, you have 5 minutes on that one. That seems comfortable. Again, I know that the city council has a 3-minute rule for non-agenda items, but I don't, 5 minutes does not seem excessive, so everybody's okay with it. I haven't found the next section, so that's what I was looking for.
Christie?
Where is it?
Yeah, I'm looking through, where's the 10-minute
I tried to find it too.
that you mentioned?
That would be,
You
I
know
think
what
we would be
article?
adding that.
Oh, okay.
in.
Oh,
Okay.
We would, yeah.
Sorry
it's
about
not
that.
there.
We would
I
be
mean,
adding that in.
we see the time kind of.
I think we've been
discussed in
talking
this
a lot
work
about
session,
case
but not that.
presentation time, but
Okay.
we really hadn't talked a lot about communications.
Communication.
Well, that is deemed communication, the one we talked about 5 minutes, right?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
That seems reasonable to me,
Okay.
and then, as long as we've got the caveat that if something requires more discussion,
Granted.
there's something written into the bylaws that allows you as chair to allow for that. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Nancy? Okay. Are there any other points that anyone wants to address in this draft?
Just that looks like we need to add the case presentation to 10 minutes.
Yes.
Oops, Nancy?
Nancy?
I was wondering if we could reference the ORC on conflict of interest. Because people throw that around and it's actually financial gain, is all.
Where's that?
Right in here in section 4 of Article 4.
I received feedback from the law director on that, Nancy, and I don't recall exactly. This has been 3 months now, I think. So, the language as written in here, it's been changed a few times since our drafts back in July. But she was comfortable with the language here that it covers. It's a given that it covers ORC as public officials acting in the planning commission.
Okay. I'm discomforted by it because people throw it around a lot, and they may not throw it around in this body, but outside the body, and so it's absolutely, I mean, if you feel differently from me, we don't have to.
I'm indifferent to it. I'm just.
No, I just
saying the
want
law
to make
director's
sure that
office
it's
is
understood that
Yeah.
it's financial gain.
Yeah, personal.
Personal, financial, or familial.
I mean, I don't, any
Well, I
harm,
guess
no
if it-
foul if you put in reference to ORC language.
Well, maybe we don't have to then,
Okay.
if she's willing to defend us. Or he.
Mary, do you feel we want to add that specifically in there, or some note
She
of that?
thinks it's okay, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with the law director and her opinion on this, having read through it.
Okay. Under your business procedures, Rick, you've got 15 days prior. That doesn't always happen. Just
Yeah.
throwing it out there.
Yeah,
Good case.
especially when it's disorganized.
It doesn't always happen that way, but I figure if we establish that, I can put that out, say that's what I have to have. but-
And enforce it.
And try to enforce it.
I don't know
Do
why
the
we
best,
wouldn't.
But I prefer to have it in there because I do have some individuals that can be difficult sometimes in presenting their information. And if I say, well, you should have had it, you know, at the 15, you have 15 days to get it to me.
2 weeks, 14? I mean, I'm curious as to the 15.
Well, that's fine. We said 15. We could say, you know, 15 business days. We could say that, or
That's even longer.
That's
3 full weeks if we had 5-day work weeks, which like this
Right.
week we didn't.
well, we can say 10 business days. I'm comfortable with
Okay.
10 business days if you prefer to do
I
it
do.
that way.
I think we determined 15 at one of our discussions because that would mean that Rick would have received it by 4 p.m. yesterday, which means that he could communicate it to the Planning Commission today, and then 14 days from now it would be on the agenda. So that if it comes in today at 14 days, 4 p.m. today, that would mean the Planning Commission would be unaware of it and you would receive notification at some point between today at 4 p.m. and the agenda being set. So this way, there's an opportunity to just say, heads up, there's a project coming in at whatever address, and here's some preliminary information.
But it wouldn't eliminate the communications, how we're bringing forward these, that's what I'm,
That's correct, right.
it would not eliminate.
Well, from Title 41, I don't believe there's a requirement that they come for a communication. It's recommended. They are at a minimum required to meet with the
Preliminary,
to have a preliminary meeting with city staff as needed. But it's recommended but not required that they come in today. Little Fish did not have to come today. They could have given you the information and then come in 2 weeks. The benefit of coming that we've always recommended it is so that if there are any issues or concerns from the Planning Commission, that those can be discussed today, and then you've got 2 weeks to try to address those issues and then come back to make the final approval nice and clean.
So, Mr. Sura, you would prefer to leave the 15 days?
I'm fine with that, yeah.
And you're not?
I think today was a good example of the two that were communications, of people having their ducks in the proverbial row. And I think that they'll benefit when we run it through next time. And I think there are other examples from the past where they've really been disorganized and hadn't thought it all the way through. I don't know. But it's always on us if they don't get what they want right away, isn't it? It's the trouble with writing things down.
So you would prefer a 10-day?
I don't care about the day, as long as we
Paula?
have a full, you're asking me what I prefer?
Yeah.
The full time period, and then the communication, and then the read. I mean, it doesn't, if Mr. Saroy wants to do it the next day, and they have full-blown plans,
I don't believe that's what Rick was saying. He was still saying that come in, he'd say, we'll have a communication next 2 weeks from now on this, and then 2 weeks after that.
That's what it means,
but,
fine.
yeah.
As long as this isn't like last.
I mean, once this is adopted, though, that
Right.
is kind of,
Well, it's a minute.
I was trying to loosen it a little bit. I know that you don't like the term loosen, but 15
Couldn't
sounds
he
like
do
3 weeks.
administrative decision-making, though? Couldn't he just say, I choose to do this, and then you could slap his hand or not, but you won't. I mean, you know, it's basic.
Nancy.
You won't do it. I mean, you know, there's nothing lost. So we're together, I guess.
So 15 is
10 business days.
10
15.
business days.
I don't care.
Mayor, Christie?
My only concern is just making sure that the public notification process, we're accounting for that in terms of what legally we have to do to make sure information is out to the public about these meetings. So as long as we're not infringing on that, I'm okay with that.
This is what happens sometimes, and I will get notification that they want to put it on communications, or we'll have a preliminary meeting and they ask me if we can do it for communications. Well, that's fine, but they don't provide me enough information that you may wish to have. So I'm scrambling to get the information from them sometimes. So
And that would be their business, not his.
Right, but I guess it kind of looks bad if they're here for communications and I really have nothing to present. If you're
Right.
okay with that and they come by and hand it to you, then that's fine. But I try to get as much information as I can to present to you to see what's going on. And actually, in a preliminary meeting, I almost do I hate to say it, but I almost do a full review with what I have to answer some of the questions possible. You know, parking questions, you may look at it and say, well, how much parking do you need? Well, I really don't need to have that for communications, but you're going to ask the question, so I have to review as much, I have to do the homework on it. So I need that information from them. And sometimes they don't have it. They just want to communicate that we are going to build something. That's what communications is about. So that's where I get stuck sometimes in trying to provide you with the answers to your questions because I don't have all that information.
My only well, Christie, I agree with her on public information, but also just in terms of, I guess, what pressure we might be putting on that department, you know, Mr. Suroy's department.
The mayor has something.
By reducing from 15 to 10 days.
I'll let you die, you know, I wasn't trying to rush anything through. I'm just saying if you have 3 weeks, in this case, to me, is that still 2 weeks? I mean, as long as it's 15 days, that's 2 weeks in a day. So it's fine.
Yeah.
We're really talking about
So the
difference
in one day.
So I'm
With
okay.
2 weekends
Yeah.
in there is going to be
Right.
14 days.
Yeah, that's fine. If
That's
you want,
fine.
if you want to, but you know,
I don't think the difference is going to be significant.
No.
It's just going to be a
I don't
day's
either.
difference.
Are you, is your preference then for the 10 or 15?
Well, I mean, I agree with you that I don't want to put additional pressure, so like I would defer to Mr. Suroy on that point. And again, like the only real concern I have is making sure we meet all the legal requirements in terms of public notification of cases.
Let me just add, I think that citizens who may be affected also benefit from this hearing. They don't often show up, but even legal aside, okay, we do the legal, but let's make sure they know too.
well, normally Patty has, well, there's been a couple of cases that have been pretty tight, I'll be honest, where she gets, you know, notice to the public.
For the future, though.
For the
I think it's a
future,
good
yeah.
idea.
We do our best to get it out.
I have no criticism.
And this is for any agenda item, so
Yeah.
if an applicant, or not an applicant, but if somebody wants to give a presentation to the planning commission on anything, they can't contact City Hall or the code office on Monday and say, can I be on the agenda for the Thursday meeting, or Tuesday?
Right.
We already have a set agenda. This says, no, we need to hear that, we'll get you on the agenda for 2.5 weeks from now.
Right.
And then, so everybody has expectations with when they have to get information and make their request to us. So we're not just doing it in this. Again, the rules are just gonna clarify for everybody how this body operates.
See, this is very similar. What you just described is exactly the way it is for city council. When city council is receiving agenda items, whether it's for committee, well, it's for committee, that, you know, you've got a set time frame in which that has to be up to the clerk of council in order for it to get on the agenda, you know, unless it's
We have the same with BZA. BZA is the same way.
dire emergency. Right.
Okay, I'm fine.
So we're good at 15?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Any other points that someone wants to bring out? Okay. Would this be ready for a vote next meeting? Is that what you'd like to do, just to get this done with?
How about now?
Okay. Patty, is that workable
Do it now?
from your, as far as like, we just
I guess we have to
clean
have
this up
final.
and we're ready to go?
Okay.
Just to clarify though, the only item we wanted to change is in Article 3, that's on page 2. And that has to do with the last sentence, I believe, in the first full paragraph. Is that correct? It says, members of the public wishing to speak at a planning commission meeting on items before the commission shall be permitted to speak for up to 5 minutes. But the recommendation, I believe, was for items on the agenda to be given 10 minutes.
The case presentation.
Yeah.
Case presentation,
Case,
10
okay,
minutes,
all right,
and 5 minutes for communication.
okay. Okay,
But the chair has the option to extend that
Okay.
per request.
Right.
okay.
Just to,
With 10 minutes, though, someone should pretty well be able to get everything in.
Sure.
Yes.
I think that, yeah, after 10 minutes, people start to flag a little bit there, so, okay.
Okay. If it's okay with the planning commissioners, I'll tweak the language a little bit and send out an additional draft,
Great.
and we can go from there. I can work with Patty on that.
just one clarification. Case presentation, 10 minutes, would communications be afforded that opportunity as well? I viewed this as the people that want to, in the audience, who want to either speak to what's being presented to us or speak on something that's not on our agenda for 5 minutes versus a communication or a case presentation.
Which is more fun.
Well, case presentation, I'm sorry, I was saying
Okay.
5 minutes on that.
And communications.
And
being
communications, 10 minutes.
That's the way I thought we had always
Okay.
talked about it, because someone is coming to us with a communication for the first time that we're seeing something, and therefore,
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Okay.
10
Okay,
minutes for communication.
Reverse.
for 10,
Because-
okay.
Correct.
Got it, okay.
Because now, the planning commission has heard that communication when they come back in 2 weeks, if they do, and therefore should require less time on the presentation portion, and then we ask our questions and we move forward.
Right,
Are
so,
we imposing a time limit upon ourselves? If, for example, we had a case presentation up here of 5 minutes, are we limited to 5 minutes? We can just ask questions?
No, I would.
All right.
That's what I was thinking when you said 10, I was encompassing, including your question, but you shouldn't impose that on
No.
yourself.
Fine.
No, it's essentially 10 minutes and 5 minutes for whoever's pitch to, here's what we're planning to do, and then that's when it opens up the floor for the planning commission's Q&A.
Yeah.
And should we address specifically item 6 on the agenda, which is always opportunity for citizens to speak about items not covered? Should we address that as also putting in a time limit of 5 minutes or 3 minutes for that too?
Well, I think, isn't
Or leave
it
it
already in the, when it says members of the public wishing to speak at a planning commission meeting on items before the commission or non-agenda items?
Okay.
Isn't that essentially already incorporated in the
Ah, yes,
language?
okay. Okay. All right.
and, yeah, I think this really strikes a chord of fairness, gives everybody the opportunity, but also gives us an opportunity to have some structure behind us in case some problem does arise, and we do have it on paper and can move forward that way. But yeah, if, Mr. Logue, if you can clean up the language, if we can make those additions that we
Yeah.
just talked about as far as the time.
Happy to.
I think that was the only other thing, we left the 15 the way it was. Then I'd like to be able to get this approved next meeting if we could.
Will do.
Great.
Yeah, and I'll communicate that to all cases and communications, individuals who are going to communicate the time frame for them, to them.
Right. Thank you very much. Report from the city planner, Mr. Logue.
Working on the comprehensive plan. My 2 interns are currently out of town on break. They are helping doing some of the work, pouring through all the information that was provided. We've got probably 1,000 comments or more right now on things, so we're trying to sort those all into buckets of different categories, and then try to figure out kind of what are the key principles that we heard through the visioning. I'll be giving a brief presentation to City Council during their orientation meeting on Saturday. And then the advisory committee will have a meeting next Friday, I
12th?
believe we scheduled. Yeah, the 12th. Okay. So, and I'll have more for the advisory committee at that meeting, but it's coming along.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Appreciate your work.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
No, sir.
Any other comments, Mayor?
Just if there was any updates on the uptown parking survey that was conducted?
I need to follow up with our intern Richard about that to get a final report. In short, there's almost always available parking uptown on the street meters. We did not find a time where there wasn't. There's a few issues that we identified, at least that we think, where people might be flipping cars around and things like that. The north end of Court Street, as well as Washington, or north end of Court Street and State Street, were the typical areas that had available parking. The study we did, we looked from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m., and we checked every parking meter every half hour.
And the parking garage was included in that study as well?
Parking garage, we did a separate study, but yes, we had tubes at the parking garage for over a week, and then we Engineering and Public Works did a really good graphic of that to figure out when the times were. And that one, we determined that almost at any given time there was at least 60 parking spaces available in the parking garage. One thing we did learn through some conversations with people, and we did some on-the-street questions, is that there was confusion and frustration that the parking garage, it costs more to park than it does on the street when street meters are the most convenient for somebody, and so they tend to hunt for the street meters rather than pull into the parking garage. There's also some general things that people, you have no understanding of whether there's parking available in the parking garage until you pull in. And there are times, they're not often, but there are times where the parking garage is filled. And if you go all the way to the top to find out you can't park, and then all the way back down, you lost about 10 minutes of your life and you're pretty frustrated. And so there's some opportunities to figure out ways to notify people of how much available parking there is.
Can you use the outside signage that says 30 spaces available or something?
That's one of the things we were looking at.
Kind of like they do at the malls?
Yeah, we were looking, Richard was actually trying to find a quote to better understand what type of, what something like that would cost and what the, what kind of infrastructure you have to actually invest in.
Have to raise the price to pay for it.
Yeah, maybe. It was interesting. People love talking about parking, as you know. And so people don't typically want to stop on the street and answer questions for a survey, but as soon as we would say, well, actually, we want to talk about parking, then people would come right back to us and say, oh, here's what I think. So that's all. Thank you.
Since you mentioned parking or asked the questions about parking, it's probably worth kind of putting back out there again that we're going to be doing a parking meter pilot on Court Street, on 2 lengths of Court Street. In other words, from Union down to State Street, where we're looking at a meter head that actually accepts credit cards, debit cards, along with coin, is looking at a different way to do business when it comes to the meters themselves. But that's on Court Street. And that'll be rolling out shortly. I believe it's rolling out within the next few weeks. But parking related. Planning related.
Any other comments for Mr. Loeb? Questions? Thank you very much. Mr. Surroy?
Winter's here. I think we can all attest to that. I would like to thank the public, those who are cleaning their sidewalks, and especially the landlords who have taken the effort to clean around the rentals that have no students in them currently. I'd also like to thank the businesses that are putting their extra foot forward to clean in front of their businesses, and just to let them know that we're out there looking to see if they are cleaning in front of their businesses and their sidewalks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There are no residents or citizens in our live audience for the opportunity for citizens to speak. Announcements and other business. Paula? Oh, Mayor?
Go ahead. Well, are we gonna do that right now?
I view it as a business
The
item.
service safety director and I are looking at each other like, oh, should we do this now? Yes, we should do this now. And I don't know if anybody who was watching today saw a little bit of kind of confusion back and forth, but
I wasn't confused. I was oblivious. It's my natural state.
Planning Commission member Nancy Bain arrived late. I would like to swear you in to continue on. So thank you for your willingness to serve on the Planning Commission. So hopefully we have enough of a tether.
Yeah, right.
Here, I'll just get out of that.
Oh, wait a minute.
To add to the confusion.
No, it's
And
business.
since we're right here in front of the flag. Nancy, if you'd repeat after me. I, Nancy
I,
Bain,
Nancy Bain,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
to support the Constitution of the United States
to support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
And I will faithfully discharge the duties
as member of the Athens City Planning
as
Commission,
member of the Athens City Planning Commission,
to which I have been appointed for the term
to which I've been appointed for the term of 1 year,
ending January 15th, 2024.
ending January 15th, 2024.
Congratulations, thanks.
Thank you. I'm
Nancy.
sorry, I didn't get one. Are you going to sign this?
I am going to sign it.
Did they go through it already? Did they say that? Oh, it's a 6-year. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
like a
All
senator.
right, thank you.
Doing the oath can be the hardest part of the job.
That's right.
It's only for a year from our SR. I'm not sure I'll live that long.
Too late. Signed up now.
Thank you. Thank you for 6 more years. My other announcement is that I will not be here for our next Planning Commission meeting, which is on the 18th. So,
Okay. Does that affect?
We should be able to have a forum for to
You should.
this,
I will be here.
Because we know we have those 2 cases.
I will be here.
Yeah, I'll be
here
here.
late.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be here. All right. Our next meeting will be January 18, 2017. And with the Athens City Planning Commission's business concluded, this meeting is adjourned.